Hey, Wilma, Liza, Laura, so happy you're here. And so I think that we should just get started and let's celebrate our wins.
Yes.
So Jamie, what's your win for this week?
My win for this week is, if you saw the movie The Wizard of Oz, there's a point when the good witch is talking to the bad witch because the bad witch is threatening Dorothy, and she smiles and she waves her little wand and she says, "You have no power here." And I had that moment, I felt it, and I realized there was a situation that was weighing on me for many, many years, and it has no power on me.
I love that. That's really powerful.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. My win is this conference has not killed me yet. Now I say yet because we still have a week to go and it is ramping up. But I've been, oh my God, one of my speakers, I've tried to been corralling her, but she hasn't given up on me. So I'm very grateful. So yes, that is my win, the conference, and that it is all going well. Laura, what is your win? Thank you.
So, I'm just sorry, my thing froze for a minute. So my win is that I had two friends. Well, actually, one is just somebody on Facebook. I did it like a free thing where I was like, I'm just gonna do animal Reiki from a distance, and it gave me a sense of like the animals and everything, and both people were like, "That's my animal." And that just kind of confirmed something for me for the distance part, that it really works.
Oh my God. That's huge, Laura, because we all know, those of us who have been doing this a while, Liza and me and Jamie, that it is very hard to believe that it works. But I think you've already passed this point, but where I share about the tigers at
Yeah.
Care and how, they feel us, whether we feel it or not, they feel it. And it's so important that we remember that, so that, again, we don't go, oh God, this was a bad, session. And we start just bringing that energy down after they had this beautiful session with us. So I love that. That's a huge win. Yay, Laura. Woo! Yay. Love that. Liza, what's your win, girl?
I bought the, what's the thing you guys are selling for $20?
Oh, you did? Oh.
And I've started, I put my pictures in, and I've started changing some of the verbiage to make it mine. So it's not done yet, but it's going.
Oh, I'm so proud of you, Liza.
Thank
Yay,
you.
Liza. Yay.
Oh,
All
Angela's
right.
coming into the room.
Wilma, what is your win?
Not getting angry at the internet.
Yay. That is a big one, because
Yes.
So Angela, welcome back. You haven't been here for a while, so I'm gonna bring you up to speed.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is every meeting before we start, we're sharing a win, and it's not like, it's just, hey, something happened, something short. Like for Laura, she did a distance session and she talked to the people that she did the session for their animal, and it validated everything that she was feeling and hearing. So it was a huge win for her. For me, it was not having this conference kill me. For Jamie, it was realizing that an old situation didn't have power over her. So give us your win. Hello, Gabby. So give us your win really quickly. This isn't your TED Talk. Just
okay. So a win, volunteering at the Humane Society with little girls reading to the dogs in the shelter, and they said they didn't want to leave. They wanted to spend the night there.
Yay.
And precious.
Innocent. More about that. Yes. Gabby, so Gabby, you haven't been here for a while. We started off the year by every week now when we meet, we're going to celebrate a win. Just, whatever it is, small wins, not your TED Talk, just something small that just gave you joy, and we're all going to celebrate, because that celebration energy, the joyful energy, really helps us. So what is your win?
That's wonderful. And I couldn't come before because I'm just running and I just taught a class. So sometimes I can make it and sometimes I'm still with my students and what have you, but I'm here. And then I volunteer with horses at Hart's Equestrian Center. So they work with people with problems with their body and stuff. And so I really feel they need that energy. And there's a new horse. And it was raining so much, so they were in their stall, so I could really focus on that horse. And he really took it and he immediately started to lick all this stuff and relax, which was really nice. So I really felt, yes, you are new, but you're running. So yeah.
Love that for you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Mary Lynn, welcome. What is your win for the week? Oh, you're on mute. Oh.
Okay, so my win for the week is that I actually attempted, as you know, Leah, I attempted to work on my brochure and got lost and confused. And so I'll keep trying. I haven't yet again, but I will.
Just keep trying. And I can pop on a call with you really fast. I just did that this morning with Paula, who had bought it. And we just realized she was just doing something wrong. You know, sometimes you just can't see. It's very apparent, but sometimes the most apparent things we're most blind to, right? It's like right in front of us and we don't see it. So,
well, I'm not a tech person, and which is why, you know, this is a big win because I had put it off.
yeah.
And because I was, you know, afraid. So.
Yay,
No.
Yay, good job,
we're not being
Marianne.
afraid. So
Yes,
let's get into our topic, Jamie.
Yes, let's do it.
Why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Well, today the topic is how to stop that negative self-talk. And I'm sure all of us can relate to negative self-talk. Maybe some of you can't, but I think we all do this to ourselves. And there's many ways. Sometimes it's just really critical, like, oh, I'm too stupid, I'm too dumb, I'm too fat, I'm not pretty enough, whatever. I just can't do this. You know, we can be really cruel. And sometimes our negative self-talk can be a little sneaky because it'll say things to us like, you know, this isn't my strong point, so it's probably better if I don't even try this. I can't be successful. And I know myself, this isn't something that my voice can do or that my body can do. So I shouldn't even try this. And even though it's not like being really critical, it's stopping us from becoming our best self and, you know, exploring and trying things and having these experiences. And that self-talk is there for a lot of reasons. We get messages, I mean, from the time we're very young, and it's almost our brains are programmed, right, to immediately fall back into these things we've heard over and over and over again. So it's going to take some effort. And Leah and I were talking earlier this morning, and she said something wonderful about self-talk and how it comes back to oneness. And I don't know if you want to share that now, Leah, but, you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, because when we have negative self-talk, what are we doing? We're putting up a boundary, right? We can't be at one in that space of love if we've got this boundary of negativity around us, right? Because as soon as we're negative, we're putting this little cloud around us. If we're positive and love, you can feel that openness, right? But as soon as we start to go negative, everything starts to close in. And that's what the animals feel too. It's impossible to have oneness when you have negativity, hatred for yourself, or whatever negative emotion that is.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're trying so hard to make this connection, which that in itself can separate us a little bit, as we talked about last week, right? But we're already connected. We have this oneness. And yet we can block that. Our thinking can block that. And that comes from that negative self-talk. So has anybody had any experiences with that? Do you have anything you do to stop your negative self-talk? Do you catch yourself in it? And I'd love to hear what it is, because I think that's what it is. We always have to be aware. It's like a full-time job, right? To keep track of our mind and our thoughts is kind of a full-time job when you start to change it. And there's techniques and different things you can do when you catch yourself to change that, because that's really important that we stop.
Laura, you had something you'd like to say?
Oh yeah, for me, it's like it's really funny because I used to think, oh, affirmations, whatever, I'm not going to do that. But now I turn it around and I say, okay, if I hate myself, what about if I love myself? And then I'll say I love myself. And so whenever I hear it come into my head that I hate myself, or you're stupid or anything like that, I'm like, no, you're really smart. Stop saying that, and I'll have this conversation rather than just going into an affirmation, and it makes me feel better. So
I love that so
Yeah,
much, because there's a part of us, the way we're raised, that negative thoughts and comments and words are more realistic than positive. So, right, like when you're growing up and you're like, oh, I do this, and your parents or your friends or whoever is like, oh, well, that's just not realistic. That will never happen, right? And so from a very early age, when we're at our most impressionable, where things really start to get absorbed into our DNA and our cellular beliefs, right? That's not possible. You have to be this, and this in order for this to happen. And now, especially in the day and age we live in now, we realize there's zero limitations to what we can do. It's only ourselves that limit us. And so I love that you do that. And that's where the all is well comes in, right? The all is well mantra, and the precepts. That's another thing, just for today only, because we only have this moment. I mean, literally in 10 minutes, nuclear bombs could go off and we could all be gone, right? And then we've worried about all of this stuff. What are we going to do next week for nothing? So really, we have to stay in that moment and stay in that positivity. But I thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone else want to share what they do? Lois, yes. And then Angela.
Yeah.
You.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, Lois, you, and then we'll get to Angela and then Wilma.
Okay, because I was gonna say, how'd you know that I didn't put my hand up yet?
Go off.
It was funny. Yeah, I kind of look at it as like you have like you guys may think I'm nuts, but I look at it as like I have child self. I think we all do, and then you have your adult self. And if you grew up in a family that, like what you were saying, Leah, may say negative things to you or not be as kind to you as they should have been, you have that little kid who's saying that. That's what's saying it to you, is your little kid, because that's what the little kid knew. And so, I will actually make an effort to be my adult self, to mother myself, basically, to be the mother that I didn't have, and like if I had a kid now, which I do, she's grown up, but you know what I'm saying? If I had a little kid now and the little kid was saying something like that to herself, I would say, be the mom and say, no, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Crazy talk. Don't talk to yourself. Like, don't say things like that, and then say something, in reality, what it really is, something kind, something loving, but to basically be your own mom, mother yourself.
I love that.
That's nice.
That's a really good technique and trick, because they say that, a lot of therapists say that, to look at yourself as a child. How would you talk to a child? You would never tell a child they're stupid. You would never tell a child their idea is dumb. And so I love that so much. And, and we can forgive our parents and stop that cycle, because we can forgive them because they were doing the best that they could with what they had, right? So think about, if the way they raised you, think about how they were raised, and what their parents, how they're, it goes back, it's that generational trauma, right? And so if we can forgive our parents, forgive their parents, forgive going back, and realize that we're all doing the best that we can, because we've all been less than perfect. And we've all, I was reading this recently, we've all, whether we want to say it or not, we've all joined in violence. And the way we've done that is that we've joined in violence by, if you've ever been watching a movie, right? And there is a hero and a bad guy, and then the bad guy gets demolished by the hero, and you're cheering, that is an act of violence, right? You're cheering on violence against this person. So we just have to remember, if we can put that in perspective, that, none of us are perfect, and we can be forgiving, not only to ourselves, but to our parents. And then when we become that parent, we don't have to have negativity. Oh, I'm the parent that I never had. We can just be like, I'm the parent that I know my mom always wanted to be, or I'm the parent I know my parents wish they could have been, right? And then we start to heal that. And I love that so much, Lois. Thank you. So we'll go Angela, Wilma, and then Liza.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just try and take 2 fingers and tap my forehead and say, stop it. And then try and turn it around, or like Laura said, a positive affirmation, just stop, and then think of something positive and move forward. I think it helps me.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
nice.
That's almost like tapping,
Mhm.
getting
like
yourself back.
The bracelet, they sometimes say put that rubber band, and when you have a bad thought, snap yourself. So it's kind of like that.
That's so violent.
I know it is violent.
Pain. Wilma.
Well, I do the same thing as Laura does. I switch it around to a positive, and then I say like something to forgive myself for speaking the way that I am about me.
I love that. Yeah. And does it
Good.
work for you, Wilma?
Sometimes the little voice gets a little loud, but that's okay.
And and who is that voice? Who is that voice? You know what I mean? Like
Ego.
yeah,
Ego.
but who is ego? What is ego? That ego can easily be changed around. So when we're listening to that voice, we have to kind of stop and go, okay, well, who is this? This isn't me. I'm not an angry, mad, or negative person. I'm a loving person. So you can say, okay, ego, I hear you. And that's another trick too, telling your ego, I hear you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. You're trying to protect me, but I got this. And then go from there. So thank you for that, Wilma.
Yes, thank you.
Liza.
Okay, so I can totally relate to this, thinking these things. So I've been listening to, I don't know if everybody's heard of Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks. So Esther channels them. Abraham is like the collective universe. So, and they talk about how, we are all directly sourced, correct? So when you are they talk about being those negative things, when you're thinking like that, that's being like in your step 1, and you can acknowledge that you're there, because that happens, and that's your contrast, and it helps you know when you're in the good, right? And so you can acknowledge it and just not stay there, and then ask your inner self, your source self, your highest being, how would you look at this situation? I just watched that yesterday, and that really for myself resonates for me to say, okay, it's okay that I felt this way, and but just don't sit there and beat yourself up about it. Look at it, say, okay, it's logical for me to feel that way in this moment, and then move forward.
That's nice. And it's funny you brought them up. I was just listening to her this morning on YouTube. So
Yeah. And that brings up another point that I was going to say, is like listening to positive things as opposed to negative things. So I'm really bad in the morning. I wake up, I don't have news on my phone or anything, but I have Business Insider, right? So it's all business news, but I get a workaround because Business Insider even has, stuff about George Santos or whatever it is, whatever's the latest, greatest. And so I still get that negativity, right? And when we do that, when we're feeding ourselves that negativity, right, whatever we focus on expands. So if we're focused on the state of the world and how negative it is, that expands. But if I'm watching dodo videos, or like Abraham and Esther Hicks, or I have my mentors that I listen to, right, then I'm focused on that. And then hope fills me, right? And excitement, and oh my gosh, and there's really good people out there, and look at all the different possibilities. And especially with Esther and Abraham, or Esther Hicks and Abraham, and just getting more positive messages into your psyche, right? That you are possible, right? Nothing is impossible. I love Audrey Hepburn. I put this in the gold sheet, said, impossible says I'm possible, right? And so everything you do is possible. So one super easy hack to help switch your mind is as soon as you, if you went, because we all have those really bad days, right? You know, we all go dark. We all have them. We go dark. Just put on comedy, put on dodo videos that are uplifting. Do something, go be with, like, Gabby's lucky she's got the horses, you know, right? Oh my gosh, they can turn you completely around because they're so silly and they're so loving, and just anything that's going to expand your heart and expand your mind positively, right? Because again, whatever you focus on expands. So if you focus on negativity, guess what? It's going to expand. Oh, the world sucks. These people are bad. There's no hope, blah, 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 blah. Instead, when we focus over here on, oh, this dodo video, or there's really cool things happening in Ukraine, or, you know, there's people doing really great things. There's, you know, all these different things, right? We're into rescue and stuff. So that's usually where, or you watch comedy and somebody makes you laugh about the craziness of the world, right? And so all these different things we can do to expand our heart, expand our mind.
Gabby?
Gabby did. I think Gabby had a comment.
Just a little exercise, which was helpful for me. It's like the little voice which lives on your shoulder, right, and talks into your ear. And you can give that voice a name. So I was really looking for a name, and I called her Ruth. And I just checked, nobody is called Ruth. Because she can sometimes be a little ruthless, right? She can go on and on. She has been really good. She was really quiet for a long time. So I'm at the point yet where I could go like the next step and promote myself. But then it's like, am I good enough? Yeah, I'm good enough. So my next thing is I took videos of the horses. I can just look at it. They are rolling around for 5 to 15 minutes on the ground. So I really know it's there, it's working. So that's all really good. I still procrastinate sometimes.
There's still that fear, Gabby, right? There's even when we don't have the negative voice talking to us, there is still the fear of, because it's deep inside of us, right? And it's not even a voice, it's more just a feeling, am I good enough? But the thing to focus on, right, whatever you focus on, is that people love you, that you're a wonderful woman, that you come in and you light people up, right? And so of course they want to hear from you. And also, if it has to do with the horses, you are their voice. So they need you to do this. They need you to share this. And I think sometimes when we look at it that way, it takes that pressure off, right? Because, oh, well, the horses need me, so I really need to do this. And you can just imagine that horse like leaning over you going, why aren't you doing this? I need you. Do something for me, right?
Yeah, but it's so easy to say, oh, I have 4 other jobs and I'm busy. And then you go like, I do it tomorrow. And so, yeah, so.
But and that brings up a good point, Gabby.
It's a good point, Leah. So it's just saying, yeah, it's really needed. And I'm actually just starting little notes here, and I want to write to the zoo, which we have here in Santa Barbara. And I really want that they invite me and I can show it to them and I can volunteer for a few times and they can see if they like it or not. But I think those animals, it's a nice zoo, but they are behind bars, right? Basically. So
it's a beautiful zoo. I love that zoo. It's very beautiful.
The next thought. So hopefully just voicing it right now, maybe I will really write it and send it off. So
well, you know, and what I was going to say, Gabby, is that, you know, when you're planning your day, plan your day, just tell yourself, I'm going to, and make it a commitment. I am going to spend 5 minutes on this. And then just spending 5 minutes, you'll spend more, right? But make a commitment to yourself that you'll spend 5 minutes. And that's all you need to do. And you remind yourself, you can put a timer and you can say, you know, for the first couple of days, just dedicate 5 minutes. And then you'll be like, oh, but I really want to keep going. Nope, I'm going to stop at 5 minutes. And tomorrow I'm going to do my next one. So by the third day, you're like, no, I'm going to do 10 minutes or 20 minutes. It's to get that momentum, because a lot of times it's not even that. We're just like, we just need that momentum. We need the kick. We need the excitement. And that first spark is really hard to get. It's like we've got wet sticks and we're trying to make fire. And so we're just like, oh, that's too much. But if you can just make that teeny tiny step forward, yay. And I want to hear more about that because Angela and another student and I were working on a presentation packet, and it would be great if we could all work together and come up with something really incredible using like the introduction to animal Reiki pamphlet booklet, and then, you know, so that we can then start presenting it to
Right.
people and to organizations. Yeah, Laura.
Excellent. Thank you.
I was a zookeeper, and every zookeeper, most of us really actually like are really open to the Reiki side. So if you start volunteering in a zoo before you even start offering Reiki, I would highly recommend that, because then you can talk to the zookeepers and the zookeepers can start talking you up to the rest of the staff, and you can go from like being a volunteer to doing the Reiki in zoos.
Thank you.
That's
Nice.
great
Yeah.
advice. Thank you,
Right,
Laura.
because I already was in contact with them last year, and honestly, nobody knew there what Reiki for animals was, I have to say. So that went like whoosh, and I was, oh, I don't have any energy for it. But yeah, maybe going through another door. So thank you.
Mhm.
I love that. And it's for the animals, you know, and I think that maybe the way if we can present it in a way that it's very unobtrusive, it's very passive, we don't interfere or interrupt with anything. And I think that that's the unknown is what's scary for some of the zoos, right? Because they have people contacting them all the time. I have this new great thing to help your animals. And it's really not going to help the animals, right? So I love that. Thank you.
You know,
Laura.
that's a great point, Leah, because our negative self-talk, when we learn to, you know, turn that around and have positive thoughts, we're not just changing our life and making us happier. It's rippling out to the animals, to the world in general. And, you know, the world really needs it. The animals need it.
Absolutely. I think Mary Lynn had, Mary Lynn, did you have a comment?
Quickly, what I do is for negative to deal with negative self-talk is I allow myself a little bit of time to get it out, you know, to okay, get it out, and I make it a point of making it realistic time span. And then I look at the clock and I say, okay, done. And now it's time for just the opposite thought. So.
Good for you, Mary
I
Lynn.
love that, Mary Lynn. I love that so much. Really great comments and
Yeah.
suggestions here. You know, and then we've all heard the Native American story about the two wolves. And I think that that's one that's always really important to remember and bring back. You know, you have the angry wolf and the kind, loving, peaceful wolf, and they're fighting. And who do you feed? You know, who's going to win? Is it going to be the peaceful wolf, or is it going to be the angry wolf? And I think that that's a really good visualization to bring to mind when you feel like you're this negative self-talk. Oh, there's the angry wolf, and look what he's doing. It's like, I don't want an angry wolf. I want my peaceful, loving side to come forward. And sadly, you know, it's weaker. So you guys want to do something really fun? It's kinesiology, you know, it's muscle testing. And so if you make a circle like your index finger and your thumb, and then you do it again and you hook them so that they're like a chain, right? And so just say your name and pull, and like so with these fingers you're holding it down really tight, and with these fingers you're trying to pull it through. So you're trying to prevent your one hand from pulling through the other one. So you say, okay, my name is Leah, and I'm really strong, right? And you say, okay, Laura, say I'm pretty, like really hold with those two that are like closed. You really hold hard. Go, I'm pretty. Say, I'm pretty. I am pretty. I am pretty. Now say, I am ugly. I am ugly. It'll go through really easily. It's much easier. I'm stupid. I'm incompetent. But if you say, I'm strong, I'm pretty, I'm smart, I'm competent, animals love me, you know, whatever that positive thing, you can see that you're stronger. So negativity weakens us, not only in our mind, but physically it weakens us. So we need to remember that and remind yourself, I'm enough. I am enough. And you are. Each one of us is enough. And each one of us has a tribe. And so, Gabby, even if you get a no from the zoo, I always love to remember Sarah Blakely, the Spanx lady, and how many no's she had to get, even to get her Spanx to get made. And then what she had to go through to get them sold. And, you know, she did all kinds of things, you know, she just thought outside the box. And that's really, we just have to push ourselves. Don't take no, because it's not a no. It's just a not this way, right? Not this one, not that person, not that job, not, it's just, it's not a no to you. It's a universe saying, no, that's not in your best interest. There's something better for you. And so just being open to that guidance too. Oh, I thought you said something to say, Jamie.
No, I was just going to say, absolutely, Leah. It's so important, you know, that what was the saying? And I know you said this before. It's like, we don't fail, we learn.
Yeah.
So,
if you're not winning, you're learning.
yes.
There's
If you're
no
not
fail.
winning, you're learning. So if they say, you know, if they don't say yes, you're learning.
Mhm.
And
you're
that
growing.
means, right. And there's something else out there for you. This, it's like, oh, there's something better. Oh, it's not this one. There's something even better than this.
And also sometimes we're not ready. You know, we
Mhm.
think, this has happened to me so many times, and I'll get a no and I'll be all upset, but then I'm like, you know what, I actually wasn't even ready for that. And then it makes me stop and think, and then improve what I was presenting or talking about or doing, so that now the next time I will be ready. And a lot of times when you're not ready, it's okay. It's just, you're learning, right? Again, you're getting information, you're learning, you're in, okay, I'm going to process this. And now you're going to go out. So for you, Gabby, you know, the no's are just learning. How do we, and that no brought up the question here. And now Laura's giving you some advice. So, right. So there's ways that we can change our negative thoughts into a more, oh, this is a growth thought. This is a positive thought. This is actually helping me, not hurting me.
Absolutely. And to let go of, you know, when you're taking those chances, just let go of the outcome. I did that last night in voice actor class, and I did something I know my voice isn't designed for, but I wanted to try it to see if I could do it. And I learned big time. I didn't fail, but I learned big time. And, you know, in front of people that I don't really know. And it's just like, you know, it's no big deal. It's like, oh, I just learned. Okay. It reinforced what I already knew.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that confirmation that makes us feel good too.
Yeah.
This is something I've already knew. This isn't something I need to relearn. This is something I already know for myself.
And when you just put yourself out there, even if it's a learning experience, they can't take away your birthday. So, you know, there's no reason for us to be embarrassed or, you know, worried about doing it. Just let go of the outcome.
Well, and you know, and everyone gets embarrassed. Everyone gets insecure. I mean, I worked for billionaires. You'd think, okay, you're a billionaire. You know, the world is your oyster, right? And they're insecure, you know? And so everyone is insecure. Everyone in any given circumstance, they are insecure for whatever reason. So if you know that everyone's insecure, then you're kind of like, well, then what do I have to be insecure about? Right? Because
Exactly.
nothing. And if someone's rude to you, they're not even being rude to you. They're being rude because of something they're feeling, something they're being triggered about, something, and it's not about you at all. And you can look at it and go, wow, I wonder what triggered that, right? It could be frustration. It could be all kinds of different things. But again, it's not you. But it's so easy to say that, but in practice, sometimes when it's
Oh, it's
happening,
hard.
you just your head, oh my God, my head gets all hot. Oh my God. Well, I think I shared with you guys last week or the week before how I had that interaction with that woman and we got in a fight.
Whoops.
Fight. Oh well. But since then I've sent her love. Try to, you know what I mean? Because it's hard because you're like, you're so mean and you did something so bad. But it's not for me to judge her. She's gonna have her own issues. I don't have to judge her. I can let it go. It's at the end of the day, I got everything turned back to the way it should have been. And so it's fine. But we're all human, right? We all go through these things. Things are going to happen and your brain is going to explode and you're going to get mad or you're going to get upset or you're going to cry. And that's okay. I remember not too long ago, something happened to me. I can't remember now. And I started to cry and I went and laid on my bed. I like threw myself on my bed and I was like, and then I was like, I can't even cry because there was that part of me going, why are you crying? Everything's going to work out. It's going to be fine. But I wanted to cry, so I had to get up. I was like, okay, I can't cry. Because when you practice that, everything is going to, all is well, everything's going to work out, whatever that is. When something does happen, even if you have that moment of, you kind of go, yeah, but it's all going to work out because it does. Everything always works out for us. Everything, we're all here, we're all thriving. Everything always works out. And if we think positive as opposed to negative, that only helps us because positive thoughts are not more realistic than negative thoughts and negative thoughts are not more realistic than positive. So why not go positive? Why would you even go negative? And if you could know that every time you went negative, you were setting yourself back and becoming weaker, would you focus on negativity? No, you would say, oh, wait, no. And I do that. I trick myself with that because I do A Course in Miracles, and it's like, there's the whole saying about how you're preventing yourself from getting to God or from getting to true happiness by your negativity and by judgment and all of that. So when I start to feel negative, I'm like, okay, do I want happiness or do I want to just stay back here in this ugly feeling and make myself feel like, temporarily happy that I'm, mad at this person, but it only hurts me. So really like reminding yourself, I don't want to hold myself back anymore. Like, for you, Gabby, when you start to feel whatever, it's like, why do I want to hold myself back? Why, what do I gain from holding myself back? What do I lose by holding myself back? And so I really encourage you, Gabby, to just plug your nose, dive in, do it, and then see what happens and then go from there.
And Mary Lynn put in the chat, letting go is treating ourselves lovingly, not healthy.
That's a great book too, Letting Go, by Dr. David Hawkins. It's a great book.
Oh, Mel is arriving. Let's let Mel in.
So does anyone else have any more comments about negative and positive mindsets and negative and positive talk? Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
Well, this is kind of like one of those things that, the embarrassing yourself thing. I did a talk, I was like, okay, Reiki is helping me with my fertility, which is, so I want to offer this for other women because I feel like it's helping me. So I went on and I was like, I have all this stuff to talk about. And I got off and I was like, I am so embarrassed. I can't believe I went on this live and all that stuff. And then I was talking to one of my friends and she just was like, the right person will listen to it and they might see you like doing this stuff where you're like really embarrassed, but just go with it because it's you. And I was like, oh, thank goodness.
But it's so true because you don't know who you're talking to. And people like for people to be real. You don't have to be perfect. I think that that's really what holds us back too, is our thoughts that, oh, if I'm not perfect. And also, Laura, the more you do that, the more you get up, the more you talk, the easier it will be. Because I remember when Kathleen and I first started, Sarah and I would do the meetings and it was just like stumble all over yourself. And it was just really bad. but you just keep doing it and doing it. And then pretty soon you can't remember when it was uncomfortable. And so, and yay for you for sharing that, because
Yes.
no matter how you're sharing it, it's important information and people do want to hear it. And as women, we are so hard on ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves, and we have to stop. And so when you're doing something, just remember all of us saying, yay, Laura, you did great, right?
Yeah.
But I go through the same thing. I didn't interview her. I was talking to her for an hour, the founder of Return to Freedom. And then I get off the phone and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so, she must be like, who is this woman? But then I went, no, I just gonna keep on trucking, gonna get it. I'm just gonna pretend she loves me to death, and that's how I'm gonna operate, and just put that energy out there. But it's really easy for us to do that, and it's something we have to work on constantly. So just know, that's totally normal for you to feel like that, first of all. And number two, that you're never as bad as you think you are. So there's that. And number three, you are going to hit somebody who needs to hear that. And the next time you share it, you're going to share it stronger. And the next time will be stronger and stronger and stronger. Because if you stop yourself now, if you went, oh God, that was really bad, I'm never doing that again. Who are you helping? No one. Who are you hurting? Everyone. So I love that. Yay, another win for Laura.
Yes, excellent. And Mel arrived.
Hello, Mel. And maybe she's on.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
How's it going?
We're talking
Good.
about positive mindset and the tricks that we do to kind of snap ourselves out of negative self-talk.
Oh my God, I have so much anxiety and stress at the moment, so it's very hard. However, I registered my business under my name a couple of weeks ago, but I was still waiting for the right name to come along. And that finally came. So I finally have an actual business name for my business and a logo, and it's awesome.
So what's the name of your business, Mel? Are you going to tell us, or do we have to guess?
No, it is called Happy Squirrel Reiki.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's cute.
Oh my gosh.
It is
really
it's
cute.
kind of dedicated to my squirrel that I had a few years back, and he passed away. And he's been showing me signs. I've seen him in like weird like markings on the wall, on the floor. It's just squirrel everywhere. And all the other names just felt kind of forced. So I asked one night, I'm like, I'm just gonna be open. And please, I'm like, I'm just gonna be open to it. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got some to drink, and it was yelling at me. And I'm like, and then I created the logo, and I have an original picture that is, I look at it and it makes me happy, like happy. So it's perfect. I got signs made up. They got delivered today, business signs for the yards and stuff. So I've been working on that, but it's been very stressful here. So otherwise, but yay. You got to take the wins,
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a great win too.
It's a very big win. Thank you for joining us. And
Yes.
sharing that. And I'm glad you joined late, Mel, because that's a note to everyone. Don't feel like you have to come right at the beginning. Don't feel like you have to stay the entire hour. You can leave early. Just come. Connect. Because that's what really this is about. It's just about us connecting as a community, supporting each other, getting support, giving support. It's just a safe space, because we need that, especially as women. We need that, right? We need to have that camaraderie and support, and know that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're not going to be judged, because we've all been there. One of us has done something, the other one has done, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And we're all a lot more common than we think, or have more in common.
Yes. Absolutely. And we need that on our Reiki journey and our journey through life anyway. It's can be a little bumpy sometimes. So it's nice to have a safe place to run to.
Absolutely. So do we have any more comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
So even after our 8 weeks is done, is this always going to be here on Wednesdays?
Oh,
Like-
yeah. Yeah. This actually, this was created kind of for the Animal Reiki for Reiki practitioners class, but then it's just evolved into just a support. So you can come and go as much or as little as you want. But
That's
yeah, absolutely.
great.
And you can still ask questions about the course or about your practice or about further studies, whatever you want. This, like, we usually have a theme, but because it seems like we get more attendance when we have a theme, but really it's open to whatever questions. So if you have a question, Lois, about the class, you could ask now. Or
Wow, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I do have a question. When you are doing distance Reiki in your business, my understanding is that you usually, like, do you use a Zoom? Do you use a phone call, or do you not do that? Do you just, do the Reiki, offer the Reiki in your home to that animal and then connect with the client later? I mean, how is that usually done?
well, I think I'll let Jamie talk about this too, but I'll give my opinion on this. There's a lot of different ways you can do any of one of those. What's most important, in my opinion, is what are you going to be comfortable with? A lot of people, I'm not really comfortable with Zoom because I don't think it really enhances the situation at all. In fact, it makes me more self-conscious, and I don't like that. So I'm not a huge fan of Zoom, or the phone call is really not necessary. What I like to do is say, this is the time, like to set a time that's going to be compatible. And Laura, you can comment on this as well. Compatible for everyone, including the animal, most especially, right? You don't want it during feeding times or during chaotic times. Like if there's children in the household, you don't want to be doing Reiki when they get home from school or when it's a more active time. But for me personally, I like doing setting it up, doing the distance session, then sending an email. This is, I'm done with the session. Just give me your feedback. Let me know what the animal did. I don't give them much feedback at all, just that it was a very beautiful session, and let them tell me if they noticed anything. And if they say, no, I didn't notice anything, and just go, okay, well, things to look for would be, and I think we have a handout about this on the Sarah site. But things to look for would be, are they barking less? Are they less stressed? Are they less anxious? Are they, all these little signs? And then the people will go, oh yeah, actually, you know what? They actually never usually sleep during this time, but they fell asleep, or they never sleep through the night, but they slept through the night, or, so there's things that you can ask them. But Laura, before we get to you, I'll let Jamie comment on how she does this.
Yeah, I agree. I've done all of those ways. So some people aren't familiar with it at all when they contact me, and they may like Zoom. Some people don't like Zoom, depending on their technology level. What I like to do now is talk to them for a while. So I make sure they understand, what's going to happen, how this goes ahead of time. And then we set a time, and I text them, like maybe 10 minutes, like, oh, going to be doing the Reiki session, get comfortable. And, I tell them to have a comfortable space, and they can listen to music or light a candle, whatever they want to do. And then I'll say, I'm beginning the distance session. I tell them to focus on, the love they feel for their animal. And then when I'm done, I send another text and say, session is completed. Oops. So then I might ask them, if they noticed anything. A lot of times when people don't notice things, sorry about that. It's because they'll say, oh, well, the dog just laid down and fell asleep. And that gives me an opportunity to say, well, that is an indication that the animal accepted the Reiki. And then it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, when they were relaxed, they, fell asleep, then they accepted it. I don't try to go into a lot unless they have some questions, but that's kind of how I prefer to do it that way. Sometimes I have to do it on Zoom because people, they feel more comfortable with it. And in that case, I get them started and then I say, okay, I'm going to go off camera now so I can really focus. I've got you in a nice, relaxed place, you and your pet. Now I'm going to go off camera and do the distance session. And when I'm back, I'll let you know. So it's kind of what you're comfortable with, but also what the client is comfortable with.
Yeah. And just, again, don't try to give too much information because
Yeah.
even there's a catch-22 when you say, oh, they laid down and that means they accepted. Well, they could be eating, drinking, walking around, they could still accept it. So we have to be really careful, like giving them totalities, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, that's what it looks like. Because that is what looks like it. But then also follow it up with, but your animal could still be accepting it if they're, going around. And if they're really highly stressed, probably not as much. But if they're just maybe going to get a drink of water or going to eat something or going to the bathroom, that doesn't mean they're still not connected. So just, the less you say, the better, unless, like Jamie says, they're asking questions, but always give them a wide variety so that they don't go, well, you said, I don't think they took it because you said when they go to sleep, because that's happened to me before. So, and I'm just saying this, when I very first started, that would happen. And so you kind of go, okay, not going to say that. What I'm going to say is they'll relax. However that looks like, they'll probably relax. And going to the bathroom, eating, drinking, those aren't indications that the session is over or that they're not relaxed. It's an indication that they're getting comfortable. And sometimes, like I did a session yesterday and my dog and another dog, I was doing a human session and they started to just clean each other and they were happy and their little tails were wagging. And that was acceptance for them, right? They didn't fall asleep. They were happy. And that's really what we're trying to get, is to that place of joy. So it's a reminder that how it looks sometimes isn't as important as what are the results afterwards. And you could maybe even say that, well, how it looks, it can change, it varies. It can be they're relaxed, it could be they're walking, it could be a lot of different things. But what you really need to look for as the parent of the pet is any type of changes, that are positive, like less barking, maybe they don't scratch as much, blah, 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 things like that. But Laura, what were you going to say?
Oh, not really much. I do the same thing when I set up human Reiki sessions too. I don't want to be on camera with the person. I'd prefer to be just allow them to lie down. But with the animals, I just said, oh, I'm going to do this for 15 minutes at this time. And we figure out which time it is. Like if it's 10 o'clock, then I'll do it for 15 minutes. And then I just send them a quick, like, here is what happened in my session in my head. And then mainly because the people that I did it for are also like Reiki practitioners and they're also like animal communicators and stuff. So they were just kind of like wanted more information. But if I did it for just a regular person that doesn't understand it, I would just be like, watch out for, look out for this stuff, like you were saying. But yeah, I had like, my sessions were like seeing things in my head with the animal, and for the person, it confirmed that that's what the animal was doing at the time. So I was seeing what the animal was doing, and so they were telling me this, and then they had specific issues that they wanted to like address. So it's just like, I can't do that, but I can just send Reiki. So I did that.
Yeah, I think so. I thank you for sharing that, because you brought up a few points. This actually just came up the other day with the woman I did Reiki with, and with her dog and my dog, because I was doing Reiki on her. So here's the thing, and this is what makes our job so hard, when you're talking about human Reiki, how many different Reiki practitioners have you gone to? One will tell you, oh, your chakras are blocked. One will have visions. One will have nothing. And we have to be really careful as animal Reiki practitioners. And this is what you'll get a lot, Laura. You get a lot of these animal Reiki practitioners, animal communication, animal Reiki are the same, and they're not.
Mhm.
Animal Reiki, like I've said this before, it's like going to have a massage, you're all relaxed, and then somebody starts talking, and you're like, what? Wait a minute. So making sure like this is a teachable moment for your friends. Yeah, I get it. Because you will, a lot of us get visions, right? This is what the animal's doing. I get that too, or you get a feeling or something. That's just a connection. That's a deep connection, right? But we have to be careful because sometimes it's our perception too, right? Of what is happening. So being aware of that, but that's why we say, look, we just hold a supportive space. Whatever healing needs to happen will either happen or not, because everybody is on their own healing path. But what I offer is a place for your animal to truly let go and relax in a stress-free state. Because when we start saying, well, I saw this or I felt this, now it's about us and not about the animal. And so, and like you said, for regular clients, you don't do it, but for your animal Reiki people, you do, because that's what they expect. And that just highlights, why it's hard for us as animal Reiki people to let people know, no, we're not doing communication. All we're doing is creating a space. And the more we can talk about that, the stronger our practice is, because in the Reiki world, there is no consistency. You do not get any type of consistency in the human Reiki world. And for humans, it's totally fine, right? Because humans, we want to hear all these different things. We want to feel hands all over our bodies. But for animals, we want to be pure of thought, right? We just want to send love and be that sun without any type of attachment to, oh, they have this problem, or, oh, this is happening, or, oh, they're peeing in the house. Okay, I need to really calm this animal so they stop peeing. No, it's just, I love you, I see you, and I'm here to hold space for you. And that's it. So hopefully that's helpful. I know we're getting down to the end of the hour. Did you want to make any comments, Laura? Oh, and Lois, I'll get to you in just a second.
No, it makes perfect sense. And, I explained that I'm sending Reiki and that's it. And then I say, if you want the animal communication part, then just let me know.
Yeah.
And then I'll differentiate between what is animal communication and what is actually Reiki. And then I'll just leave it like that, so they know they're getting animal communication rather than Reiki. So
I love that. I love that so much. And, and remember, this is we're all learning, right? And you have to learn. And I'm only saying this to help you, so that you don't have to learn the hard way because I learned the very hard way. I've been there, I've done this. And so less is more, but I'm not an animal communicator, but I love that you're doing that, because again, now you have two services, and you could each service, give it its full attention, because now you're not trying to mix. You're not trying to go, okay, we're going to relax, but we're going to have a conversation, but we're going to relax, but we're going to have a conversation. You can see that is not lining up, but if you have two separate ones. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lois.
Yeah, question I had is, if you're doing the animal Reiki and you're trying to create this calm, healing, sacred space for the animal to enter if they want, and let's say you start getting stuff from the animal anyway, like communication, you start picking up on stuff, even though you're not trying, it's happening. What do you do? Do you like not respond to this animal? I mean, what do you do?
You say, oh, thank you for sharing. Because sometimes it's a clearing. We don't know what those are, right? It could be a clearing. It could be just, they're just showing you, sharing it. So you can go, thank you, and just thank the animal. And then at the end of your session, you can say, do you want to talk about that? And then you go into your animal communication. But when you set the stage that this is animal Reiki, this is where we're very calm, we're very peaceful. Now, at the end of that, oh, you showed me this and this. Do you now you can, because if you're doing animal communication, you have to get validation. You can't just accept, you have to start validating what you think you're seeing, so that that what you're getting is what they're trying to give you, right? So just say thank you so much, and just keep going in your space and let the things go, and just thank them for whatever comes through. But just like your own thoughts, you're just going to let it go, push it aside. But then at the end, close out your session and say, okay, now I'm ready to do animal communication.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think that too, the animal, I mean, if the animal does want to talk and you say, no, this is the time, just like when you go to the shelter and they think, oh, it's treat time. And they get, after the first couple times, they're like, oh, you're not the treat lady, you're the Reiki lady. So now I'm just going to relax. And it's the same thing if you go in with animal communication, right? Oh, you're the Reiki lady. Okay, we'll do Reiki and then we'll talk. Or you can do, oh, you know, all right, we can stop this. We'll do animal communication and then we'll do that. But I always recommend do the animal Reiki first so everybody gets really calm and relaxed. And then in that space, now you're both more open, relaxed. Now you can have a really open conversation, right?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Look at Sophie over there.
I know.
She looks so cute.
She's like,
All
I'll
right.
be in on this energy.
So we are at the bottom of the hour, but we'll do a really quick meditation to get us all set and ready for our day and open. So we'll go into Gasho. We'll close our eyes to block out any external distractions. And let us set our intention that we're open to receive whatever it is that we need most at this moment in time. And that we're open to hold space for all sentient beings. And let's take our hands from Gasho and put them across our heart. And we're just going to do some nice, slow breaths, breathing in through our nose, pulling our breath down to our belly. And then slowly release the breath out your mouth. Just a few more breaths, breathing in through your nose and gently releasing that breath out your mouth. And I'd like you to bring your focus and your breath to your heart. As you breathe in, you expand your heart. And you breathe out, you release all the love within you out to the space around you. As you breathe in and out, feel that beautiful sense of love within you. Maybe bring to mind an animal, a person, or a place that fills your heart with love. With every breath in and out, you're expanding that sensation of love, that feeling of love, out your heart and into the space around you and beyond. As you breathe in and out, you become this beautiful ball of love and light. And just repeat in your mind, it is safe for me to feel love. It is safe for me to give love. It is safe for me to receive love. And as we slowly start to come back, let's bring our hands into Gasho and give thanks to yourself for coming today, for participating, and for sharing your beautiful voice and your light. And you can bring yourself back. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a really wonderful call. Lots was shared. Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you, Angela, Gabby, Nerlin, Lois, Mel, Wilma, Laura,
Have a great week.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Don't forget to sign up for the conference. It's
I
next.
signed up.
Yay. Don't forget to go in there and interact too. You know, we have over 750 people registered for this. So this is a huge thing. I'm going to really ask all of you when you're in there, comment if people are asking about animal Reiki, comment, share, your opinions. If you want to do a meetup, you can do a meetup. So if you have a business, Laura, you have a business, you can do a meetup right there in Whova, in the platform. There's a little thing, you click on the meetup box and you can say, suggest a new meetup, but really it's schedule one. And you don't even have to have your own external Zoom. You do their Zoom inside there and you schedule it and it'll go on our agenda. So if you want to do something interactive there, please do, but please comment. Oh, and we have prizes. There's a $300 cash prize, and it comes with like books and Rockstar dog food and all kinds of other stuff. So be sure to go and participate in the games and and support Sarah, because this is big. 750 people. I know we're going to exceed 1,000 by the time next week, because people register late. And so big deal, guys.
Leah, I just have one question. The email said we can, it recommends downloading the app, but it said we can also access it from web. So just go
to whova.com, and I think you have to download it to your desktop as well.
Okay.
Like, it's an app. I think you can do it from the web though. I need to look into that more because more people are asking, and I need to send to the attendees like kind of like a 1, 2, 3 step on how to register and what to do, because it was so funny because I did this conference on this platform for like 170 stoners. It was for the cannabis industry, and I'm like, why is it that the animal community can't understand it, but all these stoners got on it and did it, and it was like no big deal, and it was new at the time. And so I was like, oh my God, maybe everybody needs to get some. I don't know. It's so funny though, because I'm cracking up because all these messages. I don't know. I registered. Oh my God. It's funny.
Okay.
But so definitely look for emails. We will be sending out more emails on how-tos as we get closer to. Bye everyone. Thank you so much. Bye, Sophie.
Laura, what's on your shoulder?
Oh, what's on my shoulder?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what is that?
What? Oh, this is just my hair.
Oh, a little gerbil or something. That's so funny.
Yeah.
I have a baby though. I have this little one right here.
Oh, hi, sweetie.
Hello, baby.
Cute. Look at Sophie. She yawned. She's like, no.
Yeah, she's like,
it's me. It's me.
And then
It's all about me.
Yay, Sophie.
Liza's dog has to be part pit bull because she's always laying on her.
I know, just like cuddled up.
I don't know. The other one that's laying here, you can't see her, is part pit. I think this one's part Doberman.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't tell, but her name's Scarlett. But she is on me like
she's a mama's girl.
Yes.
Always.
she's cute.
Oh. Lovely.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great week,
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.